Good morning, good evening, everyone. Sally, I appreciate if you actually have your camera and unmute yourself. Thank you so much for our amazing partner all around the world for being with us today. Thank you, Sally from University of Wales, for taking time and
Thank you for
going
having
through
me.
the. Thank you so much. Usually I say a lot of our partners, the schools, when they come, is different time zones. Some of them is 4 a.m. I don't feel bad. It's UK, it's 1 p.m. So I'm
We're
kind of
okay.
like, it's okay.
I'm
Thank
awake.
you yeah, thank you so much. As always, quick reminder, guys, if you don't know, this is our first UK Top Recruiter workshop, which was super exciting for us. To be fact, this is our first non-Canadian schools workshop because as you may all know, Canada's been always ApplyBoard focused, but we have seen amazing support and number of applications from UK. So super excited to be here. I was telling Sally earlier on, my knowledge toward of UK is actually as not as good as it should be. Uh, so I'm very excited to listen to Sal's presentation because I think I'm going to learn a lot. So I hope that you guys have the same feeling. As always, the first 45 minutes of this presentation, we're going to go through the presentation, understanding more about UCW, and then we're going to take the last 15 minutes to answer any questions. So please use the question box and answer any question. And like always, this recording will be shared with you. So just sit back and relax and enjoy it. That's pretty much from my end. Sally, the floor is yours. Once again, thank you so much for taking time today with us and going through the presentation.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for your time today. I hope you find this session useful and interesting. So my name is Sally Fairburn. I've worked at the university now since 2006, so for 14 years. I started off in the admissions office and I've been in international recruitment since 2012. I currently manage regions in Europe, as well as South Asia and Norway as well. So yeah, just a background about myself. So first of all, we're going to play you a video to give you an understanding about what your students can expect and some visuals. So Katie, if you could play the video, that would be great.
I love Wales as a country. There's a lot you can learn when you come here, when you see the kind of culture that we have. I guess people don't really expect us to have a city like Cardiff that thrives as much as it does. And there's a lot more going on in Wales than people originally see.
Coming to uni here, you make so many friends from all over and they're your friends for life. Getting here is really easy. Coming from somewhere like London, you can just get on one train. You can then get the train up to Pontypridd, go straight to Newport. It's a 5-minute walk to get to the university from the train station in Newport.
With this new university, the University of South Wales, it's great. Like, you have so many resources.
Wales is a massive hub for sport. All of the streets are lined with red and people get really passionate about rugby, and when we win, it's an amazing place to be, it really is. People are very, very proud to be Welsh.
Peidiwch â phoeni, mae pawb yn siarad Saesneg, ond fedrwch chi ddysgu bach o Gymraeg fel dim problem.
Cardiff's just one of the coolest cities ever. And it's just lush. You can just get on a train or a bus and you can go into the middle of nowhere, you can go rafting, you can go climbing up the mountains, or you can go west and you can go surfing. I mean, it's got a little bit of everything, really.
You can travel to the big cities like Cardiff, and you've got the great landscapes like the Gower, great beaches around you. The Brecon beacons are stunning as well, so it's a really good place to be.
One of my reasons to come to UK was to get a British degree, which is a stamp of quality. I found so many friends here from all over the world. Everyone's helpful, everyone's supportive, and after some time you just realize that you feel at home.
The University of South Wales to me is this life-changing experience which I wouldn't swap for anything.
We are here. Will you be?
Okay, so hopefully that gave you a good understanding of what the university can offer your students. If we could go to the next slide. Thank you. So, just make my screen bigger. So, why study at the University of South Wales? Well, we believe that our university offers a lot of reasons to come and study with us, not only to get obviously that piece of paper at the end of it, but to give you a great experience while you're with us as well. So we offer a little bit of everything, as you saw in the video. We offer placements in some of our courses as well. Some placements are guaranteed in some of our courses like MBA Global in Hotel and Hospitality Management, chiropractic studies. But just because the placement isn't guaranteed doesn't mean that students can't get placements. Many of our courses are, well, all of our courses are influenced by the industry that we work in. A lot of the academics come from within that industry, and with that they bring their contacts and their knowledge. So we work with industries to influence the outcome of our courses and the learning outcomes that the students are going to benefit from. And with that, the students obviously get the contacts as well to get those placements. So if students are interested in placements, then it's really important they discuss that with their award leaders, and we would do everything we can to try and get them that hands-on experience. Scholarships are a big thing in South Asia, which is who I understand I'm presenting to mostly here. Apart from MBA, all of our courses for self-funded students offer a scholarship of £2,500 per year. So it's a non-merit based scholarship. We want to give it to as many people as possibly can, and that's why as long as you're self-funded, your students will benefit from that scholarship. MBA students would get a £2,000 scholarship, and I'll talk to you about that in more detail as we go through the presentation. So we are one of the largest universities in the UK. We have around 26,000 students. What does that mean for your students? Well, it actually means that they are going to be immersed in different cultures, different nationalities, and that's really important for them to open their minds to new situations and make new friends from all around the world, and just to develop them as a person. We also believe that our university offers very good value for money. We'll talk about fees as we go through the presentation, but our fees are very competitive, and Cardiff as an area it has been voted the cheapest city in the UK for students to live in. So it does offer very good value for money, but it also offers very high standard of living for our students. So the next slide, please. So these are just some of the companies that we work with and our students are exposed to. So there's some really big international players there that you'll recognise, and our students, they get hands-on experience with these international companies. You'll see there's several football clubs, there's the rugby clubs, you've got the Hilton, the BBC. We have BBC studios in Cardiff, so you don't have to go to London to be exposed to the media scene. So like I said, where possible, we will expose our students to these people to give them the hands-on experience they need in order to update their CV and give them that cutting edge when it comes to getting that job at the end of their studies. Next slide. So why study in South Wales? Many students will have heard of London or Manchester, Birmingham when it comes to the UK, but perhaps not South Wales or perhaps not Cardiff. Cardiff is the capital city of Wales. It's a very vibrant city, very friendly. I'm actually English, but I've lived in Wales since 2004. So I have first-hand experience of actually being somebody from outside of Wales and coming into the area. And I can honestly tell you, hand on heart, that the Welsh population are very friendly, very welcoming. It's the kind of place where if you were in the city centre looking a bit lost, somebody would come up to you and say, "Are you okay? Do you need any help?" It's that kind of place. Cardiff has a population of around 300,000 people, so it is very small when you think of a city and compare it to London, but that has its benefits. Everything is very easy to get to by walking or by cycling, and like I said, the people are very friendly. You have a little bit of everything close by. You can jump on a train and within 40 minutes you can be on some of the most beautiful beaches. The Gower Peninsula in Swansea is absolutely stunning. You've got lots of castles and lots of culture and history. As the video said, we have more castles per square mile in Wales than anywhere else in the world. So if you're into your history, it's really the place to be. Sports as well. Obviously, when we're not on lockdown, Cardiff is a great city for hosting sporting events, rugby and football, and music venues as well. So, say a couple of years ago, I went to see Coldplay in Cardiff. So we've got the big international bands, but if you're into your music and maybe the smaller up and coming bands that may play at student unions, then this is a great place to be as well. There's excellent transport links. You have Cardiff International Airport, just 30 minutes drive away, and then you have the main train station in Cardiff, and you're literally just 2 hours away from London then. So London is a great place to be. It's a great city, but it is very expensive. So one of the benefits of studying in Cardiff or South Wales as an area is you can go to London for the day or the weekend and enjoy being a tourist without having the associated costs of living there. Next slide, please. So we have 4 campuses, and I'm going to give you a little bit of information about each campus. So this is the first one in Cardiff City Centre. As you can see, it's a very modern looking building, and this is where we teach all of our creative courses. There is a train station just behind this campus, so again, excellent transport links. Just across the road from the campus, you've got one of the halls of residence, so very easy for students to get to the campus, although there are other halls of residence dotted in and around the city centre as well. And then if you were just to walk 3 minutes down the road, you'd come right into the heart of the city centre with the shopping malls, the bars, restaurants, theatres, cinemas. So really fantastic location. In this campus, you've got obviously all your workshops and your studios and your music studios, your green screens, your dance studios. You've got the Students' Union, restaurants, coffee shops, student support. So it's really important to mention that because we have different campuses, that doesn't mean the students have to commute between each campus. Everything they need is on their campus, so they don't need to commute between them. So the next slide, please. So these are the subject areas that you would expect to be taught on this campus. It is, like I said, it's a creative industries campus. You would fit in very well if you had purple or pink hair, unlike our campus where I'm based, the business students are rather different and dress very differently. So they are very creative students. Most of these courses here, you would expect to submit a portfolio. So usually what students would do is include the link to their portfolio within their statement of purpose, and then the faculty would have to assess their application to see not only if their academic qualifications meet the requirements, but also their practical ability for the course. Like I said, people think that you have to be in London when it comes to the creative industries, but Cardiff and Newport as areas are very big on the creative industries. Our lecturers come from within that industry themselves, so with that they bring so many links to their courses, and obviously pass those on to the students to benefit from. So next slide, please. So Cardiff is very multicultural. There are 2 other universities in the area, so it is known as a student hub. But the good thing is that students actually get to mingle and associate with the local people as well, which is what it's all about, is experiencing new lifestyles and meeting new people. There are lots of green parks in Cardiff, so whether you're into running or mountain biking, or you just want to have a picnic with your friends or a barbecue in the park, then this is the place to be. Like I said, it's just 2 hours from London, so very conveniently placed, and it is a very safe city for our students to be in as well. Next slide. So this is the next campus. This is where I'm usually based when I'm not stuck at home. You can see a little blue building there in the middle of the screen, and that's where my office is. This is the Pontypridd campus. There are 2 sites to this campus. This one that you can see now is the Treforest campus, and then literally a 10-minute walk away, just across the road basically, is the Glyntaf campus, and you'll see that in a moment. But the Glyntaf side of it is where we teach all of our lab-based courses like forensic sciences and nursing, police sciences. I would just like to mention now that unfortunately international students can't apply for our nursing courses due to the NHS funding of placements. So apologies for that, but please don't send any applications for nursing from international students. So on this campus, you can see it is very much a campus-based environment. If you were at the bottom of the campus and you needed to make your way to the top, you can see all the accommodation blocks there at the top. It's going to take you about 7 to 10 minutes to walk, so you don't need a car. You will get fit on this campus. It is on a hill, so you don't necessarily need to join the gym to get your workout. You will get a workout walking up to the accommodation block. Just below the accommodation block on the left-hand side with the orange roof, that's the sports centre and gym. And then just below that is the Students' Union. And in there you have a nightclub, a bar, 2 pubs, pool tables, a noodle bar, hairdressers, convenience store, cafes and coffee shops. So it offers everything that the student would need. You've also got restaurants dotted around the campus, and there's a Starbucks on campus as well. You've also got a library, a very state-of-the-art library with amazing views into the hills. And the library is open 24 hours a day during term time and obviously those peak exam times. We have an aerospace centre here as well. So we have 2 aeroplanes there. And there is a train station just 3 minutes walk away, and if you were to jump on that train for 20 minutes, that would bring you into Cardiff city centre. Pontypridd is a town, and you would get to it either by walking for 10 or 15 minutes or jumping on the train for 1 stop. And it's like any town. It has a high street, it has banks and building societies, and Boots, Superdrug, Dorothy Perkins, New Look, River Island, so your clothes stores as well. But if you wanted a proper shopping experience, you would probably go to Cardiff City. So if we go to the next slide, this is the Glyntaf side of the campus where all the lab-based courses are taught. So on this side of the campus, you would have a library and restaurants and a coffee shop as well, and obviously all your labs, but the accommodation is on the other side, or you could choose to live in the local area in a shared house, but we'll talk about accommodation in more detail as we go through this presentation. So if we move on to the next slide, these are the subject areas that you could be taught within those two campus locations. The ones above the line are on the Treforest site, and then the ones below are on the Glyntaf site. So some popular courses that we offer on this campus for the South Asian region would be MBA Global. We offer two MBAs. One is a standard MBA, 1 year in duration, and then the other is a 2-year MBA Global program. And the reason it's 2 years is because we have an integrated 10-month work placement, which is guaranteed. It's not necessarily paid, but the experience they get in that placement, I would say, is more valuable than being paid. So it is a guaranteed 10-month work placement. We also offer cybersecurity and data science. We do psychology, LLM laws is a popular one as well. And we offer accounting and finance, and our bachelor's program is accredited by ACCA. And then we offer, like I mentioned, the aerospace portfolio of courses, so aircraft maintenance engineering or aeronautical engineering, automotive engineering, as well as civil and mechanical engineering as well. Should your students not meet the English requirements, which I'll go through with you shortly, we do have pre-sessional English programs available on the Treforest campus as well. So if we go to the next slide. Pontypridd as a town, again, has very green parks. If you're into your running, they do, when we're not on lockdown, park runs every week. You have an outdoor swimming pool there as well. Again, very friendly, very easy to get around because of the train stations and the buses that run. So yeah, very easy to live in this town. So the next slide, we will talk about Newport campus. So Newport again is a city. All of our campuses, apart from Dubai, are 20 minutes from each other by car or train. Newport is hosting a very modern looking building as well on the river. And again, it has everything that the student needs. So you've got accommodation just 3 minutes walk away. You've got across the road from there, you've got restaurants and bars and shops. And then there's a train station 5 minutes walk away as well. This is the campus that we teach hotel and hospitality management at undergraduate level. It's a very popular course because we have integrated placements within all 3 years of the program, and some of the block placements are paid for in the 2nd and 3rd year. We're the only university in the UK to have collaboration with a 5-star international hotel, which is the Celtic Manor in Newport. We hosted the Ryder Cup in 2010. But not only do students get to experience that international hotel and working in that hotel, we also have collaboration with a group of hotels called Welsh Rarebits, and these are a small boutique group that students can obviously get experience of both sides of big international but also smaller hotels as well. So the next slide, you can see the subject areas that we teach within the campus. And again, although business is taught on the Newport campus, there are a larger portfolio of business courses taught on the Treforest campus also. So in this instance, you would have a chat with your student to see which campus they would prefer. Education is a popular course that we teach in Newport as well as counselling, and then obviously the hotel and hospitality management. And then the next slide, you can see just some images of Newport. So the top one there is the shopping mall opposite the campus. And again, actually Newport is only 90 minutes away from London, so even closer but it has all the amenities that your students would expect to make their lifestyle very comfortable and convenient for them. So finally, we have the Dubai campus, and this is a new venture for us. We had our first intake last year, and what we wanted to do here is host our portfolio of aerospace courses, but we wanted to host it in Dubai because we wanted to immerse our students into the aerospace hub, and we believe Dubai offers this. So if we go to the next slide, you'll see the courses that we offer here on campus. We've got aerospace engineering, aeronautical engineering, as well as aircraft maintenance engineering. But also we have a couple of business courses and cyber security as well. The business courses are actually taught in blocks, so they might be more suitable for students that are working full-time but want to get their master's degree as well through block study. Students may choose the Dubai campus over the UK campus because they don't want to be as far away from home, or perhaps they've got some visa issues and they can't get a Tier 4 study visa. Then maybe Dubai is an option for them also. So from the next slide, you'll see Dubai offers a very multicultural city. It offers, as you can imagine, very high standard of living. Within the campus, there are restaurants, there's the accommodation, halls of residence as well, and coffee shops. So again, it offers everything that the student would need. And the international airport is only 20 minutes away. So again, very easy should they need to pop home for holidays or just to have a week at home, very easy for them. Okay, so we offer sports courses as well at the university. We have a sports park and we've actually invested millions of pounds within our sports park. The picture you can see here is our indoor pitch. It's one of a kind in England and Wales. There are no others like it. We're very proud of it. When we host in Cardiff the international rugby matches and the New Zealand All Blacks come and play against Wales, then the All Blacks actually train on this pitch. It's that good. So we're really proud of that. The next slide you'll see are just some of the sporting activities your students can participate in, whether that's as a hobby or perhaps they want to try for the university team, then that's an option as well. But we have so many different activities that they can try and maybe experience new ones that they've not done before. So the next slide. You can see here, it looks like a gym. It is a gym, but it's not only a gym, it's a classroom. So these are where our students will have some of their lectures, maybe for sport and exercise science, strength and conditioning, rugby coaching, football coaching. So you can see it is very state of the art, very modern, equipped well. And our students not only have the benefit of these amazing facilities, but the lecturers that they have again come from within those sporting environments, and with that they bring those contacts that the students so desperately need to get that additional experience. So with the coaching courses as well, you have state-of-the-art recording facilities. So they record the games taking place and they analyze it, and they have state-of-the-art technology that they would actually use in proper football matches in the championship. So yeah, they're getting an excellent experience here at the sports park. We go on to the next one. So the welcome service that we offer, we understand at the university that it's a very daunting time for students to be leaving their home country. They may even be leaving their home state for the very first time, and it's quite a scary process for them sometimes, and not only them but for their parents too, especially if it's their firstborn child. It's a whole new experience for the mum and dad also to go through that. So we want to make it as easy as possible for those students to transition into UK life. So from the next slide, you'll see that we actually have an airport welcome service. Should students decide to fly into Cardiff International Airport, we will pick them up free of charge, as long as they've used the booking service. We'll pick them up free of charge in a taxi and take them directly to their accommodation, which makes it really easy for them. If they decide to go to fly into London Heathrow, what we'll have is a meet and greet service. So there'll be a university representative there to make sure they're okay once they come through arrivals, and get them on the right bus and tell them exactly what they need to get to their accommodation. On the next slide, you'll see that we also have an international welcome program. This is a program that happens a week before enrolment week, before our September and our February intakes. And it's a program for our September intake, which is a bigger intake, and we have usually over 300 students on this program. And if we go to the next slide, it's a week basically of non-academic activities where students can transition into UK life. And the next slide, they will actually be making friends and socializing. So when it comes to enrolment week and they walk into that room to enroll, they will already have met so many friends, and it won't be such a daunting process for them. The next slide, you'll see that we actually organise activities throughout the week, so they can pick and choose which ones they want to do. Most of them are free. We might ask them for maybe a couple of pounds, £5 if it involves transport, just to contribute towards a bus or something. But most of the activities are free. We do quizzes, we take them out for dinner, treasure hunts. We also have an international welcome meal at the end of this week, which I get to go to, as does my whole office. And it's a really nice experience for us as international officers to go and meet the students that maybe we've had correspondence with throughout the year, and meet them in person and just see that they're thriving and met so many friends already, which is really lovely to see. And so the next slide you can see is the support services that we have available at the university. There is a health centre on campus, so students can register for that. Alternatively, they can register in a local doctor's surgery in the area. We have an all faiths chaplaincy, and Vaughan is our chaplain, and he's very approachable, and is very welcoming to our students, and they organise lots of different events at the meeting house there. So should you be a student and obviously missing maybe Diwali, then we normally host a Diwali event, or if you're Chinese and you're missing Chinese New Year, then we normally have an event for that. So there's lots of different events for different nationalities throughout the year, which is really great. Disability and dyslexia. We would say if you have students that do need additional learning support, please do let us know in the application form, because that's how we know to give them the extra support that they need. It's not going to jeopardise their academic ability to be, we're not going to judge it on their academic ability when offering them a place, but we do need to know in order to give them that extra support. So next slide. We have different support departments and workshops available as well. So we've already mentioned a 24-hour library, student development. So should your students perhaps meet the English requirements, but perhaps are lacking confidence when it comes to speaking, then we have free English classes they can drop into. If they need to have help in writing a CV or updating their CV, again, we have workshops on this, or perhaps practicing mock interviews before going for a job interview. They're all different services that we offer that are free of charge for students to participate in. And then every campus has an advice zone. An advice zone is basically a one-stop shop where students can go to get assistance with any issues they're experiencing, and the person at the desk will try their best to help them. If they can't help them, they will tell them where they need to go to get that help. So we're not kind of passing them from pillar to post in order to get the information that they need. So this is the Students' Union on the Treforest campus. It's very modern again and very large. It didn't look very large on the main picture I showed you at the beginning of this presentation, but it is. So if we go inside onto the next slide, you'll see this is the nightclub inside, which gets obviously a lot of use from Freshers Week, but they have events going on a couple of days a week every week. And then you've got pool tables and coffee shops and restaurants in there, as well as a couple of bars and a pub. And like I said, there's a convenience store and a noodle bar, even a hairdresser's in there as well. So part-time work, this is a big question for our students, especially from South Asia. They are allowed to work up to 20 hours a week. We do stress to them the importance of getting the balance between work and study. They're primarily there for study, so they shouldn't be working more hours and jeopardizing their studies with us. We have job shops and careers fairs, and there's websites they can go to see jobs that are being advertised. So we can help them to get a part-time job, but it's really important to say we cannot guarantee them a job. So again, as you know, it's really important that they have the funds available to support their studies and their lifestyle should they not be able to find a job. So accommodation, there's two options. They can live on campus, and this is typically what a room would look like. So single occupancy, this is one of the larger rooms. A smaller room would have a single bed in it, but all the same facilities and to the same standard. So every room is single occupancy. Every room has its own ensuite bathroom and shower room, and a mini fridge would be in there as well. And if you go to the next slide, you'll see there's a bathroom with a shower too. And there'll be 5 or 6 students in a flat, and they will share a kitchen and a living area. So it is very convenient. Should you have students that need single sex blocks, then we can accommodate that usually as well if they put their application in early enough. And typically this type of arrangement would cost between £100 and £130 a week, and that would include all utility bills, and students would get free Wi-Fi across the university anyway, so that accounts for all students with the Wi-Fi. So the next one, you can see the facilities that they have there. It is a self-catering option, so there are restaurants in the campus, but also there's takeaways and restaurants and pubs and supermarkets walking distance from the campuses as well, although they can upload an app called Yo-Yo, and they can pay, or parents can upload money to this app as well to ensure their children are at least eating. And then every time they use this app, they get points, and then they can convert these points into food again. And then the second option for students is off-campus accommodation. So if we go to this, this is a very modern looking off-campus block. But if you go to the next slide, you'll see this is typically what a house would look like in a student area. So they're normally terraced houses, and students would rent a room within the house. So they wouldn't have their own bathroom, it would be shared, and it would be a shared living room and kitchen area also. However, the benefit of this is it is usually half the price of what they would pay on campus. So depending on the campus that they're at, between £50 and £70 a week. So it does give more value for money, but it's not as luxurious. So the next slide is fees and scholarships. So you can see there the white circle is our undergraduate fees, and there's just a couple of £100 difference depending on whether they're STEM subjects or not. And then you've got the postgraduate fees there, and again a couple of £100 difference for STEM subjects. So undergrad starts at £13,200 per year. The fees are fixed for the duration of their studies, and then postgrad starts at £14,100, rising just to £14,300 for STEM. You'll see there across the middle of the circles, there's some scholarships. I would say ignore these for the time being, because my audience, South India, would be entitled to a different scholarship, and I'll talk to you about that very soon. MBA and MBA Global is £15,000, and scholarships for those programs are £2,000 for all self-funded students. So if we go to the next screen, you'll see the Chancellor's International Development Scholarship. And this is the scholarship actually that your students from South Asia would benefit from. So they would actually get a higher scholarship of £2,500 per year. So if you had an undergraduate student studying for 3 years, they would be guaranteed this scholarship every year of their studies. And it is awarded at the time of an offer letter being issued. So you would have the tuition fee, then the scholarship, and then the net fee to pay. And as long as the student is self-funded, they will be guaranteed this scholarship. Unfortunately, if they aren't self-funded and they're in a lucky enough position to be sponsored by the government or an employer, then they wouldn't qualify for our scholarship. So the next slide is how to pay. So we would prefer Flywire payments. It's quicker, especially if you need a CAS very quickly, and it does give the student a very good rate, although we understand that some families prefer not to do online banking, so we do obviously consider transfers as well via the bank, but just to be aware, this usually takes up to 5 working days to reach us. So how to pay? We would require a deposit of 50% in order to issue the CAS. Now, it's important to say here that there are many students from high-risk countries, so that would be Nigeria, Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, that are required to take a credibility interview. And students will be sent a link to complete the credibility interview. It's called a KIRA interview. And we send this link to them once we, at the same time that we send the offer letter, the unconditional offer letter. And students are required to complete this credibility interview so that we can see they've done their research about their course and the university in the UK and compared it to other universities. So should they be called by the UK VI, we are confident that they should pass an interview with the UK VI. Now, we don't recommend students pay their deposit until they've received confirmation that they've passed their KIRA interview. Once they've passed it and they're happy to make their payment, they've decided it's the right course and the right university for them, then we would ask for 50% deposit in order to release the CAS. Now, students have 2 options. They pay their 50% and then they can either pay the remaining balance before or at the time of enrolment. And if they do this, they can deduct £300 from the remaining balance, because we would give them an early bird kind of discount of £300. So that's quite nice. Then the second option, should they not want to pay the remaining balance, is to pay over 7 monthly instalments. And what will happen is when they get to the university, they will arrange a meeting with the finance department and set up a direct debit plan, and the balance is split over 7 months, equal payments from October all the way through to April, and there's no extra cost for this. There's no interest charge. They still pay the same as what they would have paid should they have paid beforehand. So it gives some flexibility there for them as well. With regards, and if we go to the next slide, I can't remember what it is. If we go to the next slide, okay, I'm just going to quickly talk about English requirements. So most of our courses for undergraduate and postgraduate require IELTS 6 with at least 5.5 in each band. Obviously, with COVID-19 as it is right now, we understand students can't get appointments, or when the centres do open, it's going to be very difficult to get an appointment. So there are other English tests that we would accept to waive IELTS. So they include Duolingo, TOEFL at home, but also should your students have perhaps IGCSE or O-level English grade C, or perhaps they have 12th standard from India, then if they've got a 65 or 70%, depending on the board they're from, then we can waive IELTS for them. So it's definitely worth checking with ApplyBoard on that, because we do consider other English tests. But I think that's it from me.
Thank you so much, Sally. I learned a lot personally. I was just like, have my cameras off because my camera is here, my screens are all over the place. So it was very interesting, like whatever you said during this, and I absolutely love the castles that you show. I'm a big
Great.
fan of like the actual like history thing and historical building. So absolutely love it. I've been in London. I think next time, give me a good reason to come and go castle shopping or castle walking. I don't know how to say that. You know, castle to castle. You know. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I'm gonna read over the questions and feel free to answer
Sure.
whatever the questions are. Some of them I don't understand what it means, so I'm still
Okay.
gonna ask you, you know, because you may know, we may both feel like.
Maybe.
So the first question is, what is your recent placement rate?
Oh, so I don't know the answer to that question, if I'm honest. However, I can tell you that 95% of our graduates are in employment or further study within 6 months of graduating. It's different for different courses. For example, like international logistics and supply chain management, we have employers approaching us for our graduates before they've even graduated. They're in such demand, and because of the links that we have with that industry and the lecturers that come from that industry. So it is different for different courses, but we pride ourselves on the fact that we have a lot of placements available for our students, whether they are external or internal. So we have a business clinic at the university as well, and companies come and work within that business clinic, perhaps maybe once a week. And our students can do consultancy work with those companies, working on maybe projects or issues, problem solving. There was an example recently, one of our aircraft maintenance students worked with British Airways on a problem they were experiencing, and his solution saved them over £1 million. So wow. Needless to say, he got a job once he graduated.
I would offer that person a job.
Yeah, I know. I'm not quite sure what he did. So I'm sorry I can't answer with figures.
That is fine, totally fine.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'll ask whatever we can answer. We can answer. You know? And the next question is kind of a good question. I still ask, even though I'm trying to stay away from COVID-19 questions, just because staying positive, you know. How USW navigate through the COVID-19 pandemic in terms of international student recruitment for fall, for upcoming like September?
So at the moment, we're still hopeful that there will be a September intake. Our main kind of priority is keeping students and staff safe. So whether that is allowing us to facilitate face-to-face teaching at the moment, we don't know. We're hoping it will, but obviously that depends on the whole world. We need people to be able to move, and for borders to be open and airlines to kind of start their schedules. So it does depend on a lot of external factors. So we're hopeful, though. We're really hopeful. Should it take place, I'm sure there'll be a lot of social distancing measures that actually come into play. But should we not be able to make face-to-face teaching happen for September, we are making contingency plans at the moment. So they've not been confirmed, but some of the ideas going around at the moment are that we will maybe offer online learning for the first semester. We are aware that some countries maybe don't have stable enough internet connection to facilitate that. So another solution is to possibly offer a second option for the students in maybe deferring until the new year when things are more settled. So I would say we're just taking each day as it comes, and we'll update our agents and our offer holders as soon as we have any more news or updates. But should they not wish to participate in online learning, should we go down that route, then that's completely understandable. It's not for everybody. You need a lot of discipline. Then it wouldn't be an option to defer until the next intake.
You know what is interesting? So we get to ask our own students and our partners to see what is it really the appetizer of online. I feel as much as a lot of people don't mind to study online, but there is not enough the tools of it, right? When you really think about it, even as having as much as a good laptop that can support you through that, or having the softwares, like a lot of people that actually don't go that, hey, now students need now Microsoft Word, they need all these softwares, how are we going to get that? But the logistics is so much around it. If you want to provide a decent experience to students, and the student has the best laptop, best internet, then that really works. So I'm happy that the approach is just not let's just do it. You know, I've seen some is doing that, and despite of that, we see students actually not too much of that. Hopefully September will happen, even if it's a smaller intake. And go back to normal. But next question, can you just quickly elaborate on how the post-work permit for UK works? Because there is a lot of question about that, you know, and everyone like, how does it that, you know?
I'm not trained to talk about visas and immigration, so I wouldn't like to give the wrong information. What I do know is it's a post-study work visa for 2 years, coming into play for people that graduate next year. Other than that, I don't know really how it works, whether they stay in the UK and can find a job within that
fair
2
enough.
years.
You know, I don't want to make you uncomfortable. I'm like asking you questions that after question, like, man, to give me a break.
Yeah, we have a department in the university, our International Immigration Advice, and they are specifically trained with regards to immigration policies and visas. There is some information on our website under the visa section, so I would suggest have a look there, and if they have any further questions, to contact you, and then you can approach me, and I'll find the specific answer out for them.
Thank you so much. There is a lot of question about IELTS and academic requirement, which you have addressed it even specifically at the end of the conversation. You said that. I'm really, I was surprised to see the amount of scholarship that you guys offer. That is really amazing, and it's a bit beside the different nationalities that could be very kind of answering the questions the way that people ask, so I don't ask you kind of, you know.
I mean, God knows, so go on.
No, if you want to say something, say that's fine.
I was just trying to fill some time in some of the questions I've been asked before and from this region, and some people ask about backlogs, and I didn't know what
Exactly,
backlogs
that was
were.
my question. I was gonna say, so how much of education gap and backlog is acceptable?
Yeah,
Does that make sense? Or
it does make sense. Yeah. So with regards to backlogs, it means they've had to retake exams or retake modules a couple of times. For us as a university, we don't see that as a problem as long as you've got your overall degree at the end of it. We might, if you failed maybe physics 5 times and you've applied for engineering, we might kind of say, well, is really engineering your forte? But I guess they wouldn't apply for it. So yeah, backlog's not a problem. With regards to study gaps, again, it's not an issue as long as they can demonstrate what they've been doing in that gap. So if there's a gap and they've been working, then obviously update your CV and send your CV in with your application. And we would need just one reference letter from all of our applicants. So if they've graduated within the year, we would ask for an academic reference. And if it's more than a year, we would ask for one employer's reference. What I would say is, obviously, if you've graduated a long time ago and you've been working, especially in a good job, you need to be very careful in your personal statement as to why you're now choosing to come and study a degree when you're perhaps doing very well in your career already, because it's a lot of money to spend, and it's something the UK VI will pick up on. So as long as you've got a clear rationale as to what an additional degree is going to give you, or master's degree, and how it's going to benefit your career, then it won't be an issue. The same, we've had questions about housewives. They've been housewives for many years and now they want to come and study. Again, it's not an issue, but you just need to be clear about why you're doing it, should you get questioned by the UKVI.
Exactly, and I think this is something that I found a lot of people, as much as they're concerned for their acceptance letter and getting the letter from university, they're not concerned for the next stage.
No.
It is it's just not acceptance letter. No one has guaranteed visa by having the acceptance letter. And if the school says, yeah, I'm okay, and a lot of the schools wouldn't be able to discriminate anyone based on their age or background or anything. So schools get the students anyway, but we all know they're gonna be stopped in the next phase. So how do we tell them don't waste your time and energy on something that doesn't work? Again, is that something that you can always say the rightest way to say it? But thanks for that explanation. The other question, again, I think there is a lot of question I see about IELTS, which last few minutes you kind of touched it. Do you mind actually elaborate on that, and we can make that as the last question?
Sure. So most of our courses for undergraduate and postgraduate require IELTS 6 with at least 5.5 in each band. There are a couple of anomalies, I can't say that word very well, when it comes to perhaps journalism, that we would obviously require a higher level of 7. Public health, we would require 6.5 in writing, but it's just very, very few that would require outside the normal IELTS 6 with 5.5 in each band. So should your students not have IELTS, or they can't get an IELTS test because of the lockdown, we do accept Duolingo. We also would accept TOEFL at home.
Do you know the score that you guys are looking?
It would be, I think it's 95 to 100 is the equivalent to a 6, I think.
That's right.
Yeah, TOEFL Home Edition as well. And then obviously if they've got their own high school qualification that we consider. So depending on which country they're from, on our website you can go to the country page and it will give you the equivalents that we could consider. So for example, from Nigeria we would accept the WIAC with a grade C6 or above. India would be 12th standard with 65 or 70% in English. Sri Lanka would be O-level English grade C. So there are several options to give them some flexibility should IELTS not be possible.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. To our
You're
amazing
welcome.
partner, thank you so much for being here. You can go ahead and apply for USW. We have schools in Canada, UCW, so my mind, I have to switch it. ApplyBoard team happy to help you, and we'll obviously bug as much as we can Sally and her team if you
I'm here
guys
to help.
answer your questions. Uh, Tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, we have two more top recruiter workshop this week, which is tomorrow's back to Canada, then back to US, then going back to UK. So a lot more top recruiter workshops. Super excited for the followings. And once again, Sally, thank you so much for taking time.
Thank you.
Pleasure, and I truly enjoyed as to be this my first UK TRW. Loved it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Stay safe, guys.